Welcome to Tennessee Senior Talk, presented by West Tennessee Legal Services. My name is Elizabeth Duke, and with me we have two of our attorneys on staff, Andy Cole and Heather Staggs. And today we're going to be talking about elder abuse awareness. So, what is elder abuse?
Yeah, so elder abuse kind of is a wide variety of things. Most people typically think of it as more of a physical abuse because that's kind of what's easier to see. But there's also financial abuse, which is a huge problem because it's not really seen. And then there's also mental and psychological abuse, which kind of have the same problems where you can't see them. So we want to today kind of go into some of the different ways to spot those, different things to look out for, and kind of what we can do and what other people can do to help that.
Is elder abuse a common problem?
Yeah, so elder abuse is becoming probably more of a common problem than it has been. The most recent statistic is that $36.48 billion are lost annually by adults who are over the age of 65. Elder abuse is under-recognized, it's under-reported, it's under-prosecuted, just because of the different complications that go along with the procedure and because of it's so hard to identify, and it's also hard for some people to make the decision to prosecute people that they're friends with, that they're loved ones, and it's definitely underreported, but it's seems to be a growing problem.
And Heather, why are the elderly targeted?
Oftentimes, the elderly are targeted because they just rely on other people for assistance in a multitude of different ways, whether that's buying groceries for them or procuring any necessities for them, which oftentimes makes them give their debit card to someone. They have someone joint on their account. And that just kind of opens them up to more financial exploitation than other people.
So, what are signs that people should look for in elder abuse?
Yeah, there are a lot of different signs, and not all of these signs necessarily point towards elder abuse, but there are things to look for and things to watch out for among people. I think one of the biggest issues is to watch for health issues. So, someone who might have recently been diagnosed with some type of dementia, Alzheimer's, something on that spectrum. People who might have mental illness, might be depressed, typically are taken advantage of more often. People who might have substance abuse or alcohol abuse issues, things that people are able to see and able to take advantage of. Another thing is people who are dependent upon others for all activities. So they get used to and they have to trust these people. And sometimes there are bad people who are in those situations and they take advantage of that trust and convince people that, this is exactly how it needs to be. This is what needs to happen. And in reality, they might be taking a little extra money for themselves when they're going to buy groceries for somebody, buying extra groceries for themselves instead of the senior. Or sometimes they just take all their money and leave. It comes in a wide variety of things, or it could just be, mental and psychological abuse from caretakers. Also, look for controlling relationships. So, a lot of times this comes from loved ones. It might come from a child or a grandchild who has so much control over a senior that they won't really let them do what they want to do. They kind of push them to doing stuff that they might not want to do. And sometimes it might be with good intentions. Sometimes, they might think this is what's best for them, but other times it's for self-serving reasons. It might be to convincing them that they need to buy the child a new car or a new house or something like that and pay. Um, and kind of going along with that, watching for people who might have a new best friend or a new significant other in their life, especially, but not always, someone who might be quite a bit younger who are looking to take advantage of a senior and who might just be looking for somebody to kind of share their life with, and they're taken advantage of. And look for fearful or withdrawn behavior. So, a lot of times, if there's actual abuse going on, um, somebody is not going to be as outgoing as they might be because they might be afraid that once they get in private, they're going to get yelled at or get have physical abuse against them. So, kind of watch for that. Because that's usually a big indicator that something's going on. And then another thing is just lack of care. So whether that's personal care, so whether lack of bathing, lack of cleaning, lack of eating, or just not having the things there to accomplish those tasks. So they might not have all food supplies, might not have bathing supplies because their money's gone. They can't afford it because somebody's taking all of their money, and they aren't able to take care of themselves because they don't have it there. Um, there's other, there's other things, but and not all of these are going to be, tell signs that that there's abuse going on, but there are things to look for that tend to show that there might be abuse happening.
That's good information, Andy. What are some of the ways that seniors are financially exploited?
So there's several different ways that seniors can be financially exploited. Some of the main ones are receiving mailings. Senior citizens are at an increased risk of receiving mailings that detail that they've won a sum of money and they need to pay a certain amount of money to receive the rest of it. And a lot of times, all the time, these are not legit. So if you ever have a question about that, you can reach out to some of the organizations to ask about that. Another way is power of attorney or conservatorship abuse. So if someone has a power of attorney to help them with some necessities and necessary daily activities, if they're on the bank account, they have access to the funds and access to their debit card. It opens it up for more financial exploitation to occur. So that's something that you have to keep a watch on and really make sure that the person that is your power of attorney is someone that you trust wholeheartedly. Another way is, and Andy discussed this a little bit, was a new boyfriend or girlfriend that has entered their life that's younger and is using their money for new cars or getting them to deed property over to you, to them, and other things along that nature. And it's not simply just a mutual relationship. There's an advantage being taken of. And another way is a home repair or other contract issues where you enter into a contract to get your house fixed or a new alarm company, and then they never finish the work or they do a poor job of doing the work and you're out of the money and you can't afford to hire someone else. So these are all ways that the main ways that I see that people can be financially exploited.
What do you do if you think an elder you care about has been or is actively being abused?
So there's a number of different organizations that you can reach out to. West Tennessee Legal Services is always here to help in these issues. There's also the Northwest and Southwest Area on Agency on Aging and Disability, and they have several programs under their office that offer services, such as the CREVA program, which stands for Collaborative Response to Elder and Vulnerable Adult Abuse. And they offer assistance if you have been financially exploited or abused. They can offer services to bring people into your home or help you with any assistance you might need that has kind of been a fallout from that abuse. There's also, under that same agency, there's the Public Guardian Program. So if someone doesn't have anyone in their life that could be a power of attorney or offer assistance in that way, it's a state agency that is set up to handle those cases and can offer to be a power of attorney for them and allow them to have some say-so in what they need or what their needs are at that moment. So those are some of the organizations that you can reach out to. And also, Adult Protective Services is another way. We are a mandatory reporting state. So if you sense abuse or if you have an inkling that someone might be being abused, it's important to make a report to Adult Protective Services so that can be investigated and other services and remedies can be put in place.
Thank you for that information, Heather. And if you, the viewer, have any further questions or are looking for any information, feel free to reach out to West Tennessee Legal Services or any of those other organizations that Heather mentioned. The information will be in the comments below. Thank you for watching.